Clerk, call the roll.
Paul J. Brasco.
Present, physically, not mentally.
George A. Darcy III. Randall J. LeBlanc.
Present.
Charlene Nebulime.
Present.
Daniel P. Romard. 3 present, 2 absent, you have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Council LeBlanc makes a motion to accept the minutes of the previous License
I
Franchise
didn't
Committee.
send you any, so.
Okay. Then we won't be accepting any minutes like that. We won't be making any motions then. All right. First, new matter of business before us.
License and franchise?
This is license and franchise, Council Roman, Clerk call Council Roman.
Counselor Romard. Okay, first new matter. Lodging house license renewal 17 through 19 Chestnut Street, Stan and Lenny Blumenthal are the owners.
Wish of the committee.
Whose ward is that?
Councilor LeBlanc on committee.
Whose ward is that in?
Sorry, the street address again?
17 through 19 Chestnut Street.
It is Councilor Harris's.
Mind if I excuse myself and ask Councilor Harris if there's any issues?
Certainly can, absolutely, if you'd like to. Councilor Harris is present here. Councilor Blank makes a motion to hear from an off-committee member. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Councilor Harris, we're dealing with the issue with regards to the housing, the lodging house license at 18,
Just 17 through 19.
17 through 19 Chestnut Street.
I have no opposition to this, and in fact, I'm for it. We don't have any concerns from the community, nothing's been brought forward. As long as it's passed all inspections and it's prepared by this body, the council from Ward 8 is behind that.
Councilor LeBlanc on committee, all the sign-offs are in place.
All silence in place, then I make a motion for approval.
Councilor Blake makes a motion for approval. Motion for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Matter
Thank
is
you, Mr.
approved.
Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Next new matter of business before us.
Lodging house license 2 Appleton Street, Stan and Lenny Blumenthal. That's Ward 5.
That's Ward 5. Councilor Calvo was just in the doorway. Wish of the committee?
I'll grab Councilor LaCava and just.
Councilor LeBlanc.
Can you repeat that address one more time?
2
2 Appleton Street. Is that family?
Yeah.
They still own it?
No. He's dead.
He's dead, he died, and then Dickie put him in jail, yeah? Well, then one week in jail.
Yeah.
Crazy. Wolfen, John died years
Yeah.
ago. So there's only one son now.
That's it.
Councilor Blank, you have the floor.
Councilor LaCava has nothing against the lodging house renewal and is in favor of it.
Okay. The ward council has no objections to it, all is in order with the application. Wish of the committee is Councilor Blank makes a motion for approval, and a motion for approval. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Next new matter before us.
Lodging house renewal 24 through 26 High Street W LLC.
That is Ward 9. Esteemed Vice President of City Council gives us the thumbs up on the motion. Councilor Blank?
Everything's in order?
Everything's in order on that application as well. Councilor Blank makes a motion for approval, a motion for approval. All in favor say aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
So you had recommitted items.
Okay, before the recommitted items, because if somebody could find out, Councilor Romano, if you could find out if Councilor Darcy's in there, somebody could. I just want to take, Councilor Blank makes a motion to take the matter dealing with the Joseph Lazaro resolution off the table. On the motion to take the matter off the table, all in favor say aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Councilor Blank, if you don't mind, I mean, I can take the chair for a moment.
I'll take the chair for it.
Okay. If you'd recognize the
I'd like to make a
very
motion.
large councilor from
Recognize
19 Crestview Road.
Councilor from 19 Crestview Road at large.
Thank you so much. And as we know, this resolution has been on the city council docket. I just want to remind the committee as we approach, as I spoke to Mr. Lazzaro's daughter earlier, that this is 5 years. 2014 is when this resolution came in, September 22nd, 2014, to recognize her father for his outstanding achievements and commitment to this community. I just think it's time that we do and act upon this in some way of shape or form. as chairman of the committee for this past year, I know that we've worked on certain things to move this forward, but not knowing how the committee structure will be next year, I'm hoping that this committee, and we have extra copies of the resolution for each of the councilors present here, just to remind them of the importance of this resolution. The council from Ward 6 was not on the committee when this resolution came back in 2014. The hope is that at some point during the future, that Mr. Lazzaro, for his accomplishments and his dedication to the city of Waltham, we will entertain naming possibly a park in his memory, in his honor. As I mentioned, he has been deceased in 5 years, just as of yesterday, so it's important that we recognize those that give back to the community in such the way that he did. So, that being said, it's my motion to table the matter this evening, and that the committee will move this over to the 2019 docket, and we'll work on this in the future to make sure that we recognize him for the achievements as a commitment to the city of Waltham. So, that being said, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome, Mr.
I'm gonna make a motion to table the matter.
All right, motion, all in favor?
On the motion.
On the motion.
Motion to table is not available, but I won't tell you that. I mean, I'll withdraw my motion if you want to speak.
No, it's not, I just wanted to thank you, Chairman or Counselor, on this. For the committee's information and such, I continue to keep this and work with Mrs. Zaro on finding a suitable venue for this. The mayor has suggested one or two, but quite honestly, between the two of us, those venues that she has suggested up to this point just didn't seem to be the right thing. It's my hope that something is going to come about that would do this, and I've often been looking hopefully towards things that might be happening up at Ferndale. We've heard about veteran housing up there, we've heard about some possible new roads and this and that. So again, I would absolutely support keeping this on the docket. I continue to keep it front of mind, even though it does look like it's been a long time, as I say. It's finding the right venue, and that just hasn't been all that easy. But again, I will certainly support the motion.
Thank you. Motion.
Keep it on.
Council from Gulfstream Road,
Motion to table.
on the motion to table, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you, Councilor Blank. Appreciate your efforts as
Appreciate that.
Chairman Pro Tem on, so we have recommit, the clerk will call the council from Ward 3.
Counselor Darcy.
Present. Okay. All present on the License and Franchise Committee. We have a number of, or 3 items of the recommitted committee. So, on the recommitted matters, Councilor Darcy, your motion was to recommit.
My motion to recommit, so if anyone had a question of what this body decided unanimously last week, they could come forward and ask questions.
Okay. Would you be your motion to hear from an off-committee member?
Sure.
Okay. Councilor Darcy makes a motion to hear from an off-committee member. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. The off-committee member being the Vice President of City Council, Councilor Logan, President for the License and Franchise Committee. Councilor Logan.
Thank you. So, again, I don't have questions, I'm just here to ask the committee to reconsider its previous action on these conditions. There are 2 different situations where you have a Class 2 motor vehicle license. One is where somebody's actually running a used car lot, that's their business. And if you wanted to open a used car lot today, you would have to get a special permit. Then there are those situations, typically like dealers, they're not dealers, they're non-dealers, we call them, who are typically like a repair shop. For example, place I bring my car. Every once in a while, he's got a car or 2 there, just incidentally, have somebody, he fixes their car, and they decide they're gonna get a new car, and they say, what should I do with this one? Can you get rid of it for me? And they park it on the lot and put a for sale sign on the car, and they sell it. But that's not their business. That's, it's nothing that they depend on for keeping their business going. It's just something they do as a service to some of their customers, just kind of incidental. We don't want to turn those into full-fledged used car lots, because most of them, you know, they don't have enough room. If they start, if that part of the business starts increasing in addition to their auto repair business, whatever, they're gonna be flowing out onto the streets, it's gonna be a problem. And most of these are on the south side. Okay, so, you know, it's gonna be me and the south side councilors that are gonna have to deal with those problems. These conditions that have been on these licenses, now, these licenses, the ones, the non-dealer, they're grandfathered in. You couldn't even get a Class 2 motor vehicle license on a new location now without coming in for the special permit under zoning. So they're grandfathered in. But they've been living under these restrictions for, God, at least 10 years. What was it, how long ago was it that I was chairman of the license and franchise when we adopted all of these? I think Kevin Ritzie was the clerk of the committee at the time. Okay, so you're going back a little. So they've been living with these restrictions all along, and it hasn't killed them or put them out of business. So I don't see why they can't continue to live with them. If that's not their main business, they shouldn't be advertising themselves as a used car lot. Okay, if they're putting in, if selling used cars is becoming such a significant part of their business that they're advertising it, then they're not what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be a repair shop that every once in a while sells a car on the side, not a used car lot. Now, the reason the other language was in there that was struck, and I think it was, let me just find it, where, this license, I think, was it number 5 that was?
5 and 6 is what we.
Yeah, so 5. So had, that's why that language was also in there after the word only. It said, it originally, it always said, it does not permit the operation of a used car lot or a secondhand motor vehicle dealership. Okay? Because again, these people.
He's not a
that hold-
dealership, excuse me.
No, Counselor,
I'm sorry.
well, Counselor, the ward councilor, the vice president has the floor, can't speak out like that. Love to say
Pardon me,
response.
I will raise my hand next time, thank
all
you.
right.
I'm learning.
I can certainly recognize you if you'd like.
Thank you.
So, again, they are not dealerships, and they're not supposed to be dealerships, and that's why this language is in there. It does not permit the operation of a used car lot or a second-hand motor vehicle dealership. The only reason that they have the Class 2 motor vehicle license is for occasional sales incidental to their primary business of being a repair shop. And that's why that language is in there. That's why that language has always been, you know, it's been in there for many, many years. So I would urge the committee not to remove that language. These companies have been able to successfully operate under these conditions for all these years. You go removing it, and you're gonna cause trouble.
You all set, Counselor?
I'm all set, so.
On committee first, Councilman Edelman.
Thank you. Wasn't it the determination of this committee that that license had no previous limitations? Wasn't that the determination when, in the beginning?
This is not that, we're not on their road, we're on.
Oh, I know exactly where we are.
So Counselor.
His license previously didn't have any car limit, right?
No, this is,
Point of information, that was just for the Thayer Road.
correct, that's what I'm trying to explain to the council. That was specific for one instance on their road. These are recommitted issues that came out tonight. This is not with regards to the Thayer Road. Thayer Road has been, from my understanding, was taken out of order and passed out on the council floor this evening. This is reflective of only the matters that we recommitted that have had these conditions on for numerous years. This is not something new for any one of these petitioners.
Okay.
It was, and just, Counselor, just so that I can, Counselor from Ward 3 made motions to amend those conditions during committee meetings over the past several weeks when they were originally petitioned before this license and franchise committee. So those three matters that were out for approval this evening have been recommitted. The counselor from Ward 9 is trying to reinstate those conditions by asking this committee to, he cannot make a motion to amend. It has to be a member of this committee that takes up his interest. If that fails in this committee, he has the right as a city councilor to go back out into the full city council and make that motion in front of the entire body. So although it may not be taken up here, once again, he has the opportunity out there by council rule to amend anything that a committee recommends. That being said, are you okay with that, with the?
I'm just thinking of Appleton, because if there were no, anybody that has a license that has never had limits should be grandfathered in. That's my, thinking of how it should work. Why all of a sudden are we putting restrictions on people who've never had restrictions?
And just again, Councilor, these restrictions, as the councilor from Ward 9 has mentioned, I've been on the council since 2000, and I know for certain it was probably around 2004 or 5 that these conditions were voted upon in, as we considered them, the standard Logan conditions. That's how they have been treated in the past. I've been on and off the committee, so you'll see over the course of time. Now, I know the councilor from Darcy is going to speak a second time around. The councilor from Ward 3 is going to speak a second time around, so I just want to make sure you're done with your question.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. First time around, Councilor Roman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, yes, I had, when we discussed this, I did have some reservations about it. It went fairly quickly. We didn't have anything truly in front of us to compare, and we based it a lot on what the clerk was saying. It was my assumption, I will call it, at that time, that what could be advertised was the car that was for sale. So that my vote was, yeah, if they have a car for sale, he should be able to advertise the car. It should not be, if that's the intent, or if the intent is, he should not be able to just advertise just in general that he has cars for sale. That I will not support. So if in fact it's the thought of this committee that that is what we are now moving towards, then I cannot support that. But if it is some sort of restriction, or maybe we need the words that individual type car, I have a, Chevy Impala for sale, or whatever it may be, a specific car, that I will support. I will not support just a general, come onto my lot, I have used cars for sale, and the like. So, I will ask you, Mr. Chair, and maybe I may need to see the actual language comparing what was and what we changed, because we had never seen that. But is it your belief that that's what we are doing? By taking this out, we are now allowing him to advertise as a general used car shop.
I can't opine from the chair. I can't. That would be giving my opinion.
Then
I have, and I will speak from the chair, or I will speak with the councilor taking over as the chair in a moment as to my kind of view of this.
Sure.
But that being said, I mean, I believe you are. It depends. It depends how you look at it, from what perspective. And the council from Ward 3 has a different perspective of how advertisement is done versus what we are trying to, what the council from Ward 9 is trying to restrict and condition.
Okay, so through you then to the council from Ward 3. Councilor, what is it that your intent is?
Councilor, you're directing a question then to the Ward 3 council?
Yes, through you to the Ward 3 council. What is it your intent or wish is for the removal of this language? Is it, as I say, general, allow them to sell cars in general, or was it the advertisement of a specific car that he may have for sale?
Am I allowed to speak, Chair?
Yes, you're allowed to answer the question.
Yeah, so this
Directed at you.
all started with the Thayer Road. Suddenly they we slipped in restrictions when they never had any restrictions on the number of cars that they were selling. And when the Thayer Road gentleman read the conditions, he said, condition number 5 prohibits me from advertising. He says, I want to have a website. He has a website. He advertises in the phone book. He says, this prohibits me from advertising. It's anti-capitalism. I mean, it's just totally wrong. They have the right to advertise for the business that they're engaged in, and you're prohibiting them from doing that. It's wrong. And that's one thing. And then the second thing is we tuned up the language in condition number 6 because it was a contradiction. It didn't allow him to sell cars from the language. And we all voted on it. We all agreed that it made no sense. The language was contradictory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the clerk to provide the language from number 5 and number 6 before and after.
Wait.
No,
No,
and
now you've
I'm gonna move to table.
I know, but you
I'm moving to
extend.
table it.
I understand that.
I've requested
You're
the
not,
clerk.
you do not have the floor, Counselor.
Oh, I do.
Wait, no, you
I
do
do have the floor.
not.
I'm
You
gonna
were,
tell.
you were directed a question. You were
And I'm
answering
answering.
the question of the counselor.
And I intend to
Once you
table
address
this.
the counselor's question, I'm gonna come back to you on committee. You're gonna then have the right to table it.
Yeah, this is
But you can't,
ridiculous.
the counselor from Ward 1 has asked you a question.
You're putting
You
companies-
asked the question, you answered that question, and now you're moving forward to make a motion. You can't. You do not have the floor. Once you have the floor,
Whatever.
you can speak. That's fine. Trust me, Counselor, I'm on your side on this, all right? I'm just here to help. We're not gonna let this become parliament here. We're not gonna scream and shout because we think, we're right. There's a procedure and a process. Now, Counselor, has he satisfied your question?
He has answered the question. However, I will state that what the council was leading to, and I will then end my comments so that he can lead to, is exactly what I was going to lead to, that the request that we finally see this in writing, because my understanding of that may be different than what the overall intent is. In regards to Thayer Road and that piece, if that's what this all came about, again, it's my recollection on that one that he did have, if I recall, he did have restrictions. He was restricted to those 7 cars. It was several years ago that he pulled out his applications that said 7, and that's what we went forward with. But in terms of that, as I say, if he's going to put in that request, that's exactly what I was going to do. I will let the council do it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Counselor Rowland, you're done?
I am done.
Counselor, next on the list is Counselor LeBlanc.
Thank you.
Counselor LeBlanc.
Doing a great job. I'm supposed to imply that opinion, but, the 3 licenses in question here are 251 Lexington Street, 196 High, and 935 Main. I think we should stick to the topic of just these 3, because that's all we're discussing, and not get into hypotheticals. Can somebody tell me, maybe it's the clerk, does he have the amendments that we did make in the last committee meeting?
I have the amended orders, but I don't have the.
Yes.
I
Are
don't
you
have the
able to
prior
read that?
orders with me. They're at the desk in the council room.
Okay.
But I don't have the language
Okay.
from before with me.
I got it.
Okay. Through you to the Ward 3 counselor.
I mean, if Councilor Logan has it, he could read condition number 5 when we struck from the word only, and you struck condition number 6.
Okay, hey, whoop. Counselor Blank has the floor. Until I recognize anybody, you do not have the floor. Counselor Blank, you have the floor.
Okay. Through you to off-committee member Logan, may I have that document that I could pass to the clerk, or? So if you would like to read it, that's perfectly fine.
The chair wants me to just read what was.
You could read into the record if you would like.
Yeah, so, condition 5, prior, the standard condition all along has always been, this license is issued for the sale of secondhand motor vehicles incidental to the operation of a motor vehicle repair business only. And then it went on, it said comma, and does not permit the operation of a used car lot or a secondhand motor vehicle dealership. And that's what was struck. And does not permit the operation of a used car lot or a second-hand motor vehicle dealership.
Point of information, he's missing the next item, which we struck entirely.
Correct. Councilor LeBlanc was asking for the amendment. If he could provide, if that didn't specifically address the question that Councilor LeBlanc asked, Councilor Blank,
Yeah.
Councilor Darcy, on a point of information, there was another item.
That's number 6, the
Number
previous
6.
number 6, which said, "The licensee shall not erect any sign or otherwise represent or advertise itself in any manner as a used car dealer."
Okay. Can you read number 7 for me?
Number 7, so, like on some of these, number 7's, number 7 says, "The licensee, the license is only valid for the premises listed in question 7 of the application and shall not be used for the conduct of business in any other location. All vehicles offered for sale pursuant to this license must be located on the licensed premises and must be clearly marked for sale."
Okay. Through you to the Ward 3 Councilor, in what we've amended and what was prior, are each of these locations allowed to sell 7 cars each?
No, they don't have that restriction.
So how many cars can they?
You'd have to look at each application.
Each application has a request for.
This has nothing to do with
This
the
has
limit.
nothing to do with.
This is just the 2 matters that don't
These are-
allow them to advertise.
And again, like you said, Councilor Blank, sticking with
Yes.
the matters at hand,
Yes.
each individual licensee comes with a number of cars they're requesting. It has nothing to do with the conditions of which we're talking about right now.
Okay. Then I'm just gonna make a statement with my opinion and then yield the floor. In my opinion, it doesn't matter to me if you're selling 1 car, however you wanna advertise it, we should not be restricting. If you wanna have 1 car and you wanna put it on the internet, or you wanna say come down, however you get the people to sell that 1 vehicle, I think it's none of our business, but that's my opinion, thank you.
Councilor, second time around, Councilor Blank, Councilor Darcy, you now have the floor to say whatever you wanna say.
I echo the council from Linden Circle. We should have no business restricting them to advertise whether they want to do via Twitter, Facebook, the internet, a webpage, a phone book, whatever they choose. I mean, that's anti-American, anti-capitalism. They can advertise, they can choose how they want to advertise. We have no reason to be involved in restricting how they make their business, how they earn their money, whether they're repairing cars or selling the 1 or 2 cars or in the Thayer Road up to 7 cars. Why are we restricting them? What's the purpose of that? And then the other issue is when we changed the language, we just made it so it's non-contradictory. And so that's why I would like the clerk to provide the prior order and the new order so that every member of this council and the Ward 9 councilor and any other councilor that wants to weigh in this can look at what we changed. And if there are changes or tweaks, go for it. Let's entertain that. But we're operating in a vacuum, so I move to table all 3 matters. First, I move to act collectively on all 3, and then I'm going to move to table all 3.
On the motion acting.
And before that, I'm going to move that the clerk provide the before and after.
Okay, the motion is to provide the before and after of the amendments to the entire body of the city council. On the motion to provide everybody with the current amendments. On the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it.
Now,
On the motion to act on matters collectively, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it.
And I move to table.
Council Darcy makes a motion to table, non-debatable, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it.
And I
The
move
matters
to-
are tabled.
And I move to roll over all items to.
Council Darcy now makes the motion to take the matters, all unlicensed and franchised, and roll them over to the 2019 docket, which I wanted to have a clean slate. On the motion to roll the matters over to 2019. On the motion,
On the
Councilor
motion,
Roma.
so, prior to that, before we do that, Mr. Chairman, I was not given the chance here, but wanted to make a motion that we file one of the matters. Can we do that?
I withdraw my motion to roll all.
Councilor
great.
Darcy makes,
Thank you.
withdraws his motion, so Councilor Roma,
Okay, yeah.
you have the floor.
Okay. On the matter dated October 23rd, 2017, this is the Dave Sanderson resolution. I put through a resolution in terms of finding a suitable venue to remember David. Once again, this has been dragging on quite a bit. I know the mayor has made some appropriations for this and some ideas given it. And so, given that, I would like to take this matter and file it.
Councilor Roman makes a motion to take from the table the resolution. Ms. Anderson, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. The matter is before us. Councilor Roman makes a motion to file the matter. On the motion to file, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. The matter is filed. There being only 4 matters now.
Four? Might be two more. We have all recommitted ones.
Okay, all the recommitted ones. On the motion by Councilor Darcy to move all matters to the 2019 docket. On the motion to move the matters, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. I thank you all for allowing me to be chairman of this committee for the 2018 season. I wish you all well, not knowing the committee makeup next year. I hope you guys can clear the docket.
Thank you.
On the motion to adjourn by Councilor Darcy, on the motion to adjourn, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. We are adjourned.
So,